The bright studio lights of the Kelly Clarkson Show shimmered like 1,000 tiny stars, reflecting off the polished floors and the neatly arranged chairs. Walker Hayes, the country music sensation, known for his chart-topping hits and playful personality, sat across from Kelly, his signature grin plastered across his face. The audience was buzzing, smartphones ready to capture every moment, unaware that the seemingly ordinary interview was about to spiral into chaos. Kelly leaned forward, her curiosity evident. "Walker, your new album has been topping the charts. Fans are obsessed, but there's been talk online about some of your controversial comments. Care to clarify?" she asked, her tone professional but edged with a hint of challenge. Walker chuckled nervously, adjusting his cowboy hat. "Well, Kelly, you know me, I say what I feel. Sometimes it doesn't land the way people think it will." His voice had a lightheartedness that contrasted sharply with the tension, slowly creeping into the room. The audience clapped politely, sensing the tension but unsure of its magnitude. The camera zoomed in on Kelly's face. Her smile was polite but tight, her eyes searching for honesty. She had interviewed countless celebrities, but something about this felt different. There was an energy in Walker's gaze, equal parts defiance and vulnerability. "Some say you're too candid, that your opinions have stirred controversy," Kelly continued. "Do you think that affects your career?" The question hung in the air like a storm cloud, heavy and impossible to ignore. Walker's jaw tightened, his fingers drumming on the armrest. "I think people want authenticity," Walker replied slowly. "And sometimes that means saying things that aren't always comfortable." His voice rose slightly, not in anger, but in a tone that made the audience shift uneasily. You could feel the electricity, an invisible thread tugging at everyone present, warning that the calm was temporary. As Kelly nodded, preparing her next question, a producer whispered urgently into her earpiece. Kelly glanced down, confusion flickering across her face. Something wasn't right. Off camera, murmurs traveled through the studio. Crew. Someone had overheard a comment from Walker that was not meant to be on air, a line that could ignite controversy. The cameras continued rolling, capturing every heartbeat, every subtle gesture. Walker adjusted his posture, sensing the shift. "Kelly, I think there's a bigger issue here than just my music," he said, eyes narrowing slightly. "Some conversations need honesty, even if it makes people uncomfortable." The tension was palpable. The audience sat on the edge of their seats, oblivious to the fact that history was being made behind the polished smiles. The interview took a sudden turn when Kelly's next question hit a nerve. "Walker, some fans have said your comments about your industry peers were disrespectful. Do you think you owe anyone an apology?" Her tone was firm now, professional but unmistakably probing. Walker's grin faltered. His fingers clenched subtly, a sign that the friendly cowboy persona was cracking. "Honestly, Kelly, I don't sugarcoat things. If someone's offended, that's on them," he said sharply, his voice echoing in the silent studio. A murmur ran through the audience, whispers like fire spreading through dry grass. Kelly leaned back, slightly taken aback. She had interviewed fiery personalities before, but there was something in Walker's eyes, a mix of frustration and genuine hurt, that made her reconsider her approach. "I get that, Walker," she said carefully, "but you're on a platform with millions watching. There's a responsibility here." The camera captured Walker's reaction in extreme close-up. His eyebrows furrowed, lips pressed into a line of defiance. "Responsibility?" he snapped, his voice rising. "Kelly, I've spent years building my career. I've faced criticism, fake stories, the works. And now you want me to perform for you like a puppet?" The studio went quiet. Gasps rippled through the audience. Kelly's professional smile wavered. She had expected pushback, sure, but not this level of intensity. "Walker, we're just trying to have a conversation," she said, her voice calm but firm, attempting to diffuse the situation. But Walker had already made up his mind. He stood abruptly, chair scraping against the studio floor, and pointed toward the exit. "You know what? I'm done here," he said, voice booming. The audience erupted into murmurs and scattered applause. Shock, excitement, and disbelief all rolled into one. As he strode toward the stage exit, Kelly called after him. "Walker, wait! Let's talk this through." But her words were swallowed by the tension thick in the air. The production team scrambled, cameras jostling to follow the unfolding drama. Walker Hayes, country star turned headline, had just walked off live television. Behind him, whispers and speculation ignited. Was it a publicity stunt? A genuine clash of personalities or something more personal? Social media immediately lit up. The hashtags trending within minutes. Walker walks off, Kelly Clarkson, talk show drama. The incident would dominate headlines, talk shows, and fan forums for weeks. And no one in that studio, not even Kelly, would forget the intensity in Walker Hayes' eyes, the eyes of someone who had drawn a line he would not cross. Backstage, the atmosphere was chaotic. Producers whispered frantically into headsets, trying to manage the fallout. Crew members huddled together, speculating on whether this was planned or a genuine emotional outburst. Walker sat in a corner, hat pulled low over his eyes, his breathing heavy. The adrenaline from the confrontation was still coursing through him. One assistant approached cautiously. "Walker, do you think you overreacted?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. Walker didn't answer immediately. He stared at the studio floor, replaying every word exchanged, every look, every tension-filled pause. He wasn't proud of walking off, but he also knew he hadn't compromised his integrity. Meanwhile, Kelly was in her dressing room, scrolling through social media. Tweets and posts flooded in, some applauding Walker for standing his ground, others criticizing his behavior. Fans debated endlessly. The show's clips were uploaded instantly, generating millions of views within hours. Every frame, every second of that confrontation was dissected online. By evening, news outlets were publishing headlines about the clash. Talk shows replayed the moment, analyzing body language, tone, and intent. And yet, behind the chaos, a curious calm settled over Walker. He knew the storm would pass, but his message had been sent. Honesty, even when uncomfortable, mattered more than public approval. Days later, Kelly released a statement addressing the incident. She praised Walker's passion but emphasized the importance of respectful dialogue. Walker, in turn, posted a short video from his studio explaining his perspective. "I don't regret standing up for myself," he said. "I hope people understand that honesty isn't disrespect, it's truth." Fans rallied on both sides, and the story became legendary, a testament to the unpredictable nature of live television and the fine line between celebrity, charm, and human emotion. Walker Hayes had walked off the show, yes, but in doing so, he reminded the world of something rare in the era of curated personas. Authenticity, unfiltered and raw. Weeks later, the studio would air a never-before-seen behind-the-scenes clip, showing candid moments leading up to the clash. Viewers watched, captivated, understanding now that the storm wasn't a stunt, it was real. And in that realization, Walker Hayes' image transformed from a simple country star to a symbol of courage, standing firm in a world that often demands compromise. The episode remained one of the most talked about in talk show history, not just for the drama, but for the lesson it left behind. That in the pursuit of honesty, sometimes you must walk away, even when every eye is on you.